Hey, this is Julian McClurkin, your chief storyteller with Tribevest. But today, we're not talking stories, we're learning lessons. This is a masterclass on how to build wealth. Today, I sit down with Jim Pfeiffer, the founder of Left Field Investing, to learn about passive investing through real estate. Here's Chapter 6, How Can You Diversify by Market?
Welcome back to the masterclass. We're now on to Chapter 6. We're flying through this thing. Now, you talked about how to pick a sponsor and an asset class. The third way you talked about was diversifying by market. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so you want to be in different markets. You don't want to be in all, everything in Dallas. You want to diversify a little bit, but you want to be in good markets. So you have to find markets where sometimes the popular markets are a good place to start. Right now, it's Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta. Those are some of the popular markets. It's also, I think, I like to look for off markets that aren't popular yet, like Boise is one, Colorado Springs is another one. So you want to find markets that are either good now or are going to be good.
Well, what separates a good market from a not so good market?
One of the main factors to call it a good market is population growth, right? You want people to be moving there. So whatever the reason is or why they're moving, a lot of people are moving to Dallas. A lot of people are moving to Texas, to Florida, some of the Sun Belt states, Arizona. So the more people there are, the more they're going to need real estate, right? So you follow the population growth. Another good aspect of a market would be where the state has good landlord-tenant laws, meaning in favor of the landlord, or they have no taxes like Florida, so there's no state income tax, so that helps you out. There could be, they just have nice business regulations that are business friendly. So all of these things make a good market. You also want job growth. And if people are moving there, they're generally moving there for jobs. But you want strong, stable, and diversified jobs. So you don't want to, go to a town that maybe a military town, because if the military pulls out, then there's no jobs left. So you want to have a diverse economy with a lot of different employers. And hopefully you could get a place where major companies are moving their headquarters or they're moving large groups of people there. And so job growth and population growth are some of the big factors.
Well, you've labeled what a good market is. What's a not so good market?
Well, I would say it's kind of just the opposite, right? It's people are leaving or there's high regulation. So a bad market would be, a place like maybe New York that has high cost of living, people are moving out, there's high regulations. But it doesn't always have to be a bad market. I'm also investing with a guy in New York because he's a local guy, and everyone looks at New York and says, bad market, not going there. Well, he's a local guy. He knows how the rent control works. He knows how everything works. People have to live, right, somewhere.
Yep.
So he is successful there. Now, I typically don't go in New York for my investments, but you find little pockets. And so part of it is you want to find either a good market or find an operator who has a good story in a bad market, because that can be an advantage too. And other things you can do when you get an actual deal is you can go onto Google Maps and just take a tour, right? See what's around it. You could be in a place that is a bad neighborhood, but they're building a brand new Walgreens across the street. Well, Walgreens does a ton of research, so if they're building there, chances are that neighborhood's going to turn around, right? You can go on Trulia and they have a crime map, and so what I do is I type the address in, put it on Trulia, and I'm just looking for how blue is it compared to the neighboring places, right? So there's a lot of things you can do to look at so you want to analyze the overall market, but then when you're analyzing a specific deal, then you look at the sub-market in the very small area where the property is.
Right.
One other thing that might be helpful when you're trying to select a market is a market that you're familiar with, right? If you grew up in Indianapolis and you know something that everybody else doesn't, then that might be a good place to invest in because you know how the market operates. Also, again, I keep saying it, use your community, right? If you want to know what a good market is, ask some other people that are investing there.
So that concludes Chapter 6. On to the next chapter. We'll see you there.